I often say that I met and fell in love with neuroscience when I left high school. So I don't know if everyone here has heard of Oliver Sacks, who wrote the amazing book, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for His Hat. So I read that in my first year of university, and it really kind of put me on this path of what could possibly be more fascinating and interesting to think about than the human brain and why we are the way we are. So the definitions that are kind of used in this when we study the science of creativity are the production of something novel and useful. There's three main networks in the brain that kind of come online when we're having a creative thought. So there's the executive network, which is perhaps housed, if you want to localize it, in the front of your brain, in your prefrontal cortex. The other part is the salience network. So again, we're talking about networks and lots of different parts of the brain interacting. And that's the part of the brain that's involved with things like motivation and reward. What is salient? What is important? What should I be paying attention to and why? And then the last part is what we call the default network. Some people call it the imagination network. It's that part of the brain that kind of simmers away underneath everything else, and it's where ideas kind of merge and flow. And neuroscientists have done, again, brain imaging studies of people and scanned their brains while they are having a Eureka moment or an insight. Now, you can't just shove someone in a scanner and wait for them to have a creative insight. You have to force it. Now, who hasn't had a creative thought when they're in the shower? This has been really well studied as well, believe it or not. About 80% of people out there would say some of their greatest insights have come when they're in the shower. Apparently Woody Allen has hour-long showers all of the time. And it depends on which story you listen to, whether it was, some people say Salvador Dali, some people say Thomas Edison used to go, settle down with an afternoon nap holding like keys or nuts and bolts or whatever in their hand, and then as they dropped off, would fall on the floor, the sound would wake them, and they were just in that moment when, the imagination network, the salience network were kind of firing off, and then that was when they would have their creative insights or their divergent thoughts, and they used to use that daily as a way of coming up with new ideas.